In the occupied territories of the Donetsk region, locals are growing more hostile towards Russian forces as fuel, water, and heating shortages worsen. Petro Andriushchenko, the head of the Center for the Study of Occupation, said this on Espreso TV. There may be problems with the heating season in parts of Donetsk region. The fuel crisis is growing. Zaporizhzhia, Luhansk regions and occupied Crimea are at the top. In Donetsk, the situation is better because they have to extinguish water with gasoline. That is, the occupiers cannot allow two major crises at once, one with water and one with fuel, for fear that society will erupt. However, prices are rising and gasoline is disappearing, Andriushchenko said. According to the head of the Center for Occupation Studies, the socio-economic situation in the occupied territories is indeed worsening with no signs of improvement. Public sentiment, even among those who were previously ambivalent, is shifting in favor of Ukraine. For example, Ukrainian graffiti has started reappearing in Donetsk. People in Donetsk have openly begun writing and saying that they hate Russians. The Russians are getting what they deserve. In other words, people are turning their thoughts towards us, which will make the deoccupation of the territories easier, Andriushchenko emphasized. In a conversation with Putin, the leader of the DPR terrorists highlighted the following main reasons for the lack of water in the central water supply system of the occupied areas of Donetsk Oblast. 1. 50% of the water came through the Siversky-Donetsk water pipeline, but it is currently out of service because, as Putin said, Ukraine has imposed a water blockade. 2. Another 50% came from reserve reservoirs, which, as is well known, have dried up in the current year of 2025 due to the heat. 3. Water supply networks that have not been repaired since the 1990s, which are deteriorating even further due to irregular use. Pro-Ukrainian journalist, investigator and blogger Denis Kazansky, who moved from Donetsk to Kiev in 2014 but continues to study and report on his native region, cites 3 reasons for the current poor water supply in the Donetsk-Makiivka agglomeration and Mariupol. Complete disregard by Moscow and local leaders appointed by the Kremlin for the basic needs of Donetsk residents. The occupiers are not involved in public utilities. Destruction as a result of hostilities of the Siversky-Donetsk water pipeline, which passed through the sites of the fiercest battles in Bakhmut, Chasiv Yar and Donetsk. The drying up of reservoirs, which the occupiers also do not monitor. At present, the situation is getting out of the Kremlin's control. This means the emergence of numerous problems for Vladimir Putin's government in the region. If events develop this way, Russia will lose control here.
A Texas bishop on the front lines of the U.S. immigration crackdown met Wednesday with Pope Leo XIV and brought him a package of letters from immigrant families fearing they will be rounded up and deported. Bishop Mark Seitz also showed Leo a video detailing the plight of migrants, and told the Associated Press afterwards that Leo vowed to stand with them and the church leaders who are trying to help them. He had a few words for us, thanking us for our commitment to the immigrant peoples and also saying that he hopes that the Bishops' Conference will speak to this issue and continue to speak to it, Seitz said. Catholic leaders in the U.S. have denounced the Trump administration's crackdown, which has torn families apart, incited fears and upended life in American churches and schools that serve migrant communities. The administration has defended the crackdown as safeguarding public safety and national security. "We don't want to get into the political fray. We're not politicians, but we need to teach the faith, and especially the gospel message to care for the poor and welcome the stranger," Seitz said. The letters he brought Leo detail the terror that even legal migrants are facing every day, fearing that they or their relatives without proper papers could be deported at any moment. Leo, like Pope Francis before him, has taken a strong line reaffirming Catholic teaching on immigration. Just before he died, Francis strongly rebuked the Trump administration's plans for mass deportations, warning that the forceful removal of people purely because of their illegal status deprives them of their inherent dignity. Last weekend, Leo celebrated a special Holy Year Mass for migrants, denouncing the coldness of indifference and the stigma of discrimination that migrants desperate to flee violence and suffering often face.
Yeah, so
wow.
it was cool to have that opportunity to meet him. He
did that baby bishop's
a year ago, last
year
September.
Ago. Okay.
I met Pope Francis. We had the opportunity in this Jubilee for migrants to bring a small group from El Paso. There ended up being 11 of us totally, including my auxiliary bishop, to meet with the Holy Father. He gave us a private audience this morning. And we brought a box with letters we had collected from around the United States, from immigrants, writing about their present situation and their experience, what it feels like right now, living under so many attacks really on the immigrant community in the United States. So we handed him that box today. We also had a small video for him that summarized the letters. Well, the situation is that they are, to say they're fearful is not strong enough. They're terrorized. And it is what shall I say? It is a fear that has a long-term impact on people, on their lives. Think about yourself and in your ability to be part of a community. Early on in the meeting, he said, "I'm sorry, we can't sit down." And I said, "That's fine, Holy Father. We're happy to stand with you." Later on in the meeting, he said, "I will stand with you." So they asked the Holy Father. One exchange we had, and I think I expressed probably what was on his mind already, is that we don't want to get into the political fray. We're not politicians. But we need to teach the faith. We need to express what the Gospels teach us.